Welcome to another Ziva Math video. In this video, we are going to take a closer look at how to divide fractions. We'll work through examples on the basics of dividing a fraction by a fraction, dividing whole numbers in fractions, and dividing whole numbers in unit fractions. We'll also look at examples showing how you can simplify the problem as you go, rather than waiting until the very end to simplify. Let's take a look at our examples. In this example, we have 1/4 divided by 1/2, and we're going to work through all of our steps showing all of our work. And the first step is to keep the first fraction exactly the same. So when I show my work, I'm going to rewrite my problem, keeping the fraction exactly the same. So 1/4 stays 1/4. Then I'll be changing the division sign to multiplication. So I'll show my multiplication sign, and we'll be using the reciprocal of the second fraction. And the reciprocal is where we switch our numerator and denominator. So instead of multiplying by 1/2, we'll be multiplying by 2/1. And again, it's really important to show these steps rather than write over your original problem so you can see exactly what you have and exactly the problem that you're going to be doing. We're on step 4 now, which is multiplying the numerators. So I'm going to multiply 1 times 2, and 1 times 2 is 2. This is going to be the numerator in your answer. Then we'll multiply the denominators. 4 times 1 is 4, and this is the denominator in your answer. Then, the very last question that you always need to ask yourself is, can I simplify? Well, 2/4 can be simplified because 2 and 4 share a common factor of 2. So I'll be dividing the numerator by 2, and I'll be dividing the denominator by 2. And 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So my final answer is 1/2. In this example, we have 4 divided by 1/6. So we have a whole number divided by a unit fraction. And our first step is going to be to turn the whole number into a fraction. So 4 as a fraction is 4/1. And then I'm going to rewrite the rest of the problem exactly how it is. Because instead of 4 divided by 1/6, I'm now going to be doing 4/1 divided by 1/6. Then we're on step 2 here. But step 2 is keep the first fraction exactly the same. And that's the same instructions as when you're dividing fractions, because that's what we have now. We have a fraction divided by a fraction. So I'm going to keep 4/1 exactly how it is. My first fraction stays exactly the same. I'm going to change my division sign to multiplication, and I'll be multiplying by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So instead of 1/6, the reciprocal is 6/1. So I'll be multiplying by 6/1. Then I'll need to multiply my numerators. 4 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24, and that is the numerator in my answer. Then I'll multiply the denominators. 1 times 1, and 1 times 1 is 1. So what I have is 24/1. So I need to simplify my quotient if needed. So I'm going to turn it from an improper fraction into a whole number, because 24/1 is equal to the whole number 24. In this example, we have 1/5 divided by 10. And our first step is going to be to make our whole number into a fraction. And to turn a whole number into a fraction, we simply put it over 1. So I'll have 1/5 divided by 10/1. And then we're going to work through the steps of dividing fractions. And that first step of dividing fractions is to keep our first fraction exactly the same. So 1/5 is going to stay 1/5. Then we change our division sign to multiplication, and we will be multiplying by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So the reciprocal of 10/1 is 1/10, because we simply switch our numerator and denominator. So now I have 1/5 times 1/10, and I'll follow the steps for multiplying fractions. So I will multiply my numerators. 1 times 1, and 1 times 1 is 1. So this is the numerator in my answer. Then I'll multiply the denominators. 5 times 10, and 5 times 10 is 50. So this will be the denominator in my answer. My final step is to simplify my quotient if needed. Well, 1/50 cannot be simplified, so my final answer is 1/50th. In this example, we have 2/5 divided by 8/15. And my first step is to keep my first fraction exactly the same. So 2/5 is going to remain 2/5. Then I change my division sign to multiplication, and I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. The reciprocal means that I switch my numerator and denominator. So instead of 8/15, the reciprocal is 15/8. Then I'll be ready to multiply my numerators and multiply my denominators. However, if you notice that you can simplify the numbers that are diagonal from each other, you can begin doing some simplification in your problem now. Well, I see 2 and 8 are diagonal from each other, and 2 and 8 share a common factor of 2. So I'm going to start by simplifying here. I'm going to divide 2 by 2, and I get 1. Then I'll divide 8 by 2 and I get 4. If you also notice, 5 and 15 are diagonal from each other, and 5 and 15 share a common factor of 5, which means I can divide the 5 by 5 and get 1, and I can divide the 15 by 5 and get 3. Now when I go to multiply my numerators, instead of multiplying 2 times 15, I'm going to be multiplying 1 times 3. And that's a much easier problem to do. 1 times 3 is 3, and so 3 is my new numerator. Multiplying my denominators is my next step, and instead of multiplying 5 and 8, I'll be multiplying 1 and 4, and 1 times 4 is 4. Now, you still want to ask yourself, can I simplify my quotient just in case you miss something in your cross simplification, or if you still need to simplify, and 3/4 cannot be simplified, so 3/4 is my final answer. In this example, I have 18 divided by 6/7, and my first step is to turn my whole number, the 18, into a fraction. And to turn a whole number into a fraction, I put it over 1. So I'll have 18 over 1, and I'm just going to rewrite my problem here. 18 over 1 divided by 6/7. That way I can see exactly what I am working with and work through my steps one at a time. Because my first step is to keep my first fraction, no matter what that fraction is, exactly the same. So 18 over 1 is going to stay 18 over 1. Then I need to change my division sign to multiplication, and I'm going to be multiplying by the reciprocal of the second fraction. My second fraction is 6/7, so the reciprocal is 7/6 because my reciprocal, I flip my numerator and denominator. So I will be multiplying 18 over 1 by 7 over 6. My next step is to multiply my numerators and multiply my denominators. However, if I notice that I can do some simplifying early by looking at the numbers that are diagonal from each other, if the numbers that are diagonal from each other in the problem share common factors, I can begin simplifying now. So I'm going to be looking at the 18 and 6. 18 and 6 share a common factor of 6. So 18 divided by 6 is 3, and 6 divided by 6 is 1. If I look at the 1 and the 7, 1 and 7 don't share any common factors, so I can't do any simplifying there. Now I'm ready to multiply my numerators. I have 3 times 7, and 3 times 7 is 21. Then I can multiply my denominators. 1 times 1 and 1 times 1 is 1. From here, you need to ask yourself, can we simplify our quotient? Well, we have 21 over 1, and a number over 1 is just a whole number. So 21 over 1 is equal to 21. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to Ziva Math for more videos.